Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben. Welcome to our new episode for today. I hope you're enjoying all the podcasts that we're putting out there. If you've not subscribed to our channel, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with all our podcasts, what get launched, and feel free to follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube and Instagram, Gardening with Ben. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave a review as well, as it's always good to see who's listening and what you think of the podcast. Let's start today's episode. Good morning and welcome to today's episode. Today's episode is called Throwback. Obviously, if we were showing this on Instagram, it would be a throwback picture to a previous year or previous week of what we have done well with. So we're going to talk about what I did well with on the plot last year and what I'll be trying again this year. So last year was obviously mainly lockdown during the growing season last year. I didn't think I'd have a successful year with it being lockdown, but thankfully we were allowed to go to the plots, and it was glorious weather last year in March time. So I actually got an allotment tan. If you've got an allotment, you know what an allotment tan is. It means that you never go on holiday, but you get a really good tan from the allotment. So that's what I had. And the things that I did really successful with on my plot last year was the fruit on my plot. Whether it's because I've started planting more flowers on the plot, it was the first year that I grew flowers down on the plot to try and attract the bees, but my fruit did so well. I had so many plums, the Victoria plums, which I mentioned quite a lot. If you're looking at getting a plum tree now, they're currently selling those in Tesco's, Victoria plums, 2 for £10. So if you're looking for a plum tree, go and get one of them. My cooking apple did well, which is a Bramley cooking apple. My raspberries did brilliant. I had lots of pears off my pear tree. I can't believe how much fruit I actually did, and my rhubarb always does well. So I'm really pleased with that. And the vegetables which I did well with, I did get a good crop of potatoes. They were really good and tasty. There's nothing better than growing homegrown potatoes. Trust me, if you've not grown potatoes before, potatoes you definitely need to grow. And now is the time to be chitting them, getting them ready for planting around end of March, April time. I always plant them outside on Good Friday. I stick to the old wives' tale of planting potatoes on Good Friday. It's meant to do with the moon, but I've always stuck to that tradition. Next up, I did well with cauliflower, not white cauliflower, but purple cauliflower. I've never had any success with white cauliflower, so I tried purple cauliflower one year, and yes, the head are completely purple. It's weird to see, but they did absolutely brilliant, so I'm going to continue growing them purple cauliflower year in, year out, because they do so well on my plot for some reason. Then obviously I did well with my tomatoes and my cucumbers. I grow a variety of tomatoes. I grow the Moneymaker, the Alicante, which do brilliant. And the variety of cucumbers that I always grow are Market More variety. These ones are not like your shop bought ones. They're not those long thin ones. These are quite chunky and they have like prickles on them, but they are so tasty and I get a fantastic crop from them, so I'll definitely be growing them again. And one thing I am extremely pleased with how well it grew was my sweet corn. I've always done well with my sweet corn, as sweet corn is a method that you have to stick to when you're growing this. You don't plant them in straight lines, you plant them in square blocks. So something like 4x4 or 5x5 plants, because they need to be planted in that block so that they will cross-pollinate with one another and if you don't plant them in the blocks, they won't cross-pollinate, and you won't get as very good pollination, which won't create the kernels inside the sweet corn. So that's what you need to do for the sweet corn. I had so much corn on the cob last year, and it was delicious and tasty. You're meant to eat sweet corn within half an hour of picking it, as the flavour starts to go from the sweet corn as soon as you've picked it. So that's a little tip there for you. What else did well? We did well with my squash. Squash did well. I had some butternut squash. First time I've grown that, so I purchased some more seeds for that this year. And for some reason my courgettes didn't do very well last year. There were a lot of things going around that there were bad batches of seeds out there. So fingers crossed I have a more successful year with that this year. So basically that is our little throwback to last year on how we did well. Fingers crossed we have a successful year this year. I've purchased all my seeds for this year, so we'll be talking a bit about that in another podcast coming up. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Make sure you do click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our podcasts, which get launched on a daily basis at the moment. And feel free to follow us on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, Gardening with Ben. Obviously on YouTube you get to see all the videos as well, which we launch regularly. And if you'd like to support Gardening with Ben, check out the link below in the description from our shop, where you can purchase fantastic gardening hoodies and t-shirts. You can also buy a Gardening with Ben mug to be drinking your own brew out of while listening to this podcast. And we've launched recently a fantastic range of greeting cards which can be used for any occasion, and also for letters to send to family and friends. So thanks for listening, and as always, remember, keep gardening.